Melts fast out here in Dominican Republic. Give it a few minutes for you guys to chime on in. Well, I guess about the rain. Damn. What's going on, guys? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Hope all is well, love and light. I got this Brugal Triple Reserve. This shit is smooth as ice, baby. Love it. I'm drinking that with some Chinola passion fruit juice, homemade. It's a hell of a combination, guys. Hell of a combination. I may have made this drink a little too strong, but it's alright. I let that ice melt down a little something, something. Yeah. Let me give y'all a view. Rick James, what's going on, Brody? Yeah, bro. Have you tried? I love Brugal too, but have you tried Triple Reservers? Have you tried Triple Reservers? Triple Reserva, I should say. Have you tried this brand of Brugal? They got double, and then they got triple. The triple is on point, bro. Nah, bro, this shit is smooth as man. When I tell you this shit is smooth, bro, smooth, and it goes well. It marries well with Chinola, passion fruit juice, fresh passion fruit juice, marries well. I'm at El Pueblito Beach here in Puerto Plata. It's a nice beach, nice, very nice. I'm just enjoying my time here because y'all, as y'all all know, for those who do know, it's the countdown for me. Time is running out. Before you know it, I'm gonna be back in New York on New York soil. And I always say, once I head home, bro, it's time to grind. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a few updates. I know a lot of you guys have been Dominican Diaries. What's good, Junior? What's good, bro? And for those of you guys that's on, check my boy out, Dominican Diaries. Was it X11? Check his channel out. Solid dude, man. He came to my rescue when I I had some difficulties here. And in actuality, that shit wasn't over with the car situation. Man, guys, I have no idea. No idea. But, I try not to stress over shit that I have no control over. You know what I'm saying? But, you just got to be careful navigating out here, even when it comes to your lawyers and shit like that. Like, I felt like my lawyer should have advocated for me a little bit better than he did, especially when I told him what I wanted him to do. If you tell your lawyer to do something here in Dominican Republic and they don't do it, let him go. Let him go. I'm not going to say my lawyer's not good. He's good at what he does. But when it comes to money in this country, they'll sell you out quick. You know what I'm saying? How much did those glasses cost, please? I had these for quite a while. These, you could probably find these on, not probably, you can find these glasses on Sunglass Hut. They cost me, when I bought them brand new, it was like 4 and change. They're like three something, maybe even 2 and change now. But yeah, the car situation, let's talk about the car situation. So, once I spoke to my lawyer and I told him the situation, he told me that I ain't have to pay nothing, only because the contract was illegal. And, when I told the car rental guy that, got to get the Meta Ray-Bans, I'm not Ray-Bans for some reason, bro. They don't look good on my face. My face is full. I think Ray-Bans look better on people that's got, a narrow face. I like the style of Ray-Bans. I don't like the way they look on my face. That's why I don't, and I'm a sunglass dude. I love sunglasses. Like, people have a thing that they love. Sunglasses, I love shades. But anyway, back to this whole lawyer situation. So, he's been my lawyer for quite some time. I'm talking about for about 4 years, and he's done a lot for me. I'm not gonna say he hasn't, but when you're caught in a situation to whereas you're having issues with a local and your lawyer knows that local, who you think they're gonna side with? I had told my lawyer that I didn't have the money to pay, and which I did. I told them I didn't have the money because you don't want them to ever think that you got money. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get my lawyer to lowball, you know, not even lowball, but be fair. You know what I'm saying? Be fair, you know? So, you know, when it was all said and done, they wanted me to pay $160,000 in Dominican pesos, which comes out to be about $2,745 to be approximate. You see what I'm saying? So now, you know, this is my thing, guys, and this is just my advice to you. If you come into this country, try to not get yourself caught in any kind of trouble, man. Stay out of trouble. There's enough of us expats here in this country where we can hang out with each other. You know what I'm saying? You come here, you got a girl, you're a female, you got a man, that's one thing. Anything outside of that, trust me, it's better to just mingle with the circle of expats that live here, just in case something goes wrong. So you can record, oh, so I can record content. Got it. Got it. I never even looked into the Meta Ray-Bans. But yeah, back to what I was saying, guys. For those of you guys in here, be sure to hit the likes, get them likes up, get them likes up. But it's better that you stay in circle with the expat community. Don't be one of those people that don't, you know, what's going on, boss? Everything good? Huh? Sunglass? You want some, hey, you want? Okay. It's no mucho, it's... I need 50 pesos.
Thank you.
You good. Yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying is, you know, it's better that you guys stay, you know, connected with the expat community if in case something happens. You know, now going back to my story with this lawyer situation, you know, I felt like my lawyer didn't advocate for me the way he was supposed to. I told him, I specifically gave him instructions when we were meeting with this guy from the rental car company because, you know, he came to my house. Y'all already know the backstory on that. Banging on my door. I had to tell my lawyer, like, yo, this dude is getting a little crazy. So he spoke to him, told him, okay, we're going to meet the next day. He said, Jay, meet me at my office at 9 o'clock. I get to his office. We having a conversation. So I told him, I said, yo, Fernando, I just gave you money, you know, to file the paperwork so I can get my Deslinde and all that stuff. I said, and I just acquired some land. I'm tapped out, you know. You never let them know what you got. I'm tapped out, you know. I said, all I got, you know, is 50,000 pesos. That's the best that I can do. So I went, when we got there, he's talking to him in Spanish. Now, when you feel like you are by yourself, always put your camera on record to record a conversation. And that's exactly what I did. I recorded the whole conversation. And my builder translated everything for me. He was like, Jay, get out of there. Get out of there. He's like, they trying to pull an okie doke on you. You know what I'm saying? Even with the lawyer, you know. As I said, he's good at what he do, but when it comes to money, you know, money is the root of all evil. You know what I'm saying? Especially in this country, people are just greedy for money, you know, and they look at us as cash cows, so they're gonna try and get us any which way they can, you know what I mean? And this is why I tell y'all, even when it comes to lawyers and shit like that, shop around. Shop around. I tell you one thing, after this whole ordeal, I'm gonna let my lawyer do what I pay him to do, and once that's done, I'm cutting ties with him, you know? You done lost, and this is the thing, like, you know that I got a platform. You know that I have sent you clients, and not to say that he hasn't done right by my clients, because he has, but it's just like, yo, you know, where does the loyalty lie? You know, and it just goes to show you that they're gonna side with their people over us, no matter whether we are paying them or not. You see what I'm saying? So always keep that in mind. Damn kid, you're going through hell out there. I'm sorry to hear what you've been through. Bro, it's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy, you know? But like I said, this too shall pass. I didn't want any situations, you know what I'm saying? Because once I agreed to pay the dude, right? Once my builder read the listened to the whole conversation, he's like, don't pay them anything. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take it to court, right? So I told the rental car guy, he calls me, he's like, we got the estimate. I said, listen, I decided that I'm gonna take this to court. Y'all, no sooner than I told them that, they pulling up to where I live. I wasn't even in my crib. I was in the restaurant next to my house. They pulled up. Now, it just so happens that the restaurant that I was at, You know, my landlord owns that restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It's my builder's sister. You know, all the people in there that work there, they know who I am. They show love. They treat me like I'm family. So when they seen that shit go down, they told me run into the bathroom and close the door because the owner called the fucking police. He called the police on me, guys. He called the police on me. So the people that worked at my landlord's restaurant, they told me to run into the bathroom and don't come out until they tell me to, right? So I hear all this commotion and shit. I'm in the bathroom. I hear all this commotion, you know, because they know that I'm in there. I guess they telling them that I left, but they wasn't trying to hear that. You know, they knew I was inside. So eventually they came knocking on the bathroom door, and the staff that worked at the restaurant said, yo, just come out. They told the police officer the whole situation. You know, I only know about 40% Spanish, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to explain to them the whole situation. I said, yo, just listen to this audio, you know? And the police was like, don't worry, come with us. So they took me, put me in their car. They ain't handcuffed me or nothing like that. Took me in their car, along with the owner of the fucking rental car company. Me and him both. And I'm telling the police officer, like, look, I traveled this country for years. You know, I don't want no problems here. I'm not here for any problems. I just want people to be fair and truthful and honest. You know what I mean? I'm feeling like what they're charging me is way too much. You know what I'm saying? So the police was like, no problem, no problem. Just get in the car, come. So they took me to the police station. So I'm like, yo, why y'all taking me here? I'm starting to get nervous and shit now because, like, I asked to go to the courts, to the Fiscalía is what they call them. That's where I'm asking to go. I didn't ask to come to the police station. So I get to the police station. I told my builder, I was like, bro, where you at? Come. I said, I'm gonna need you here. I'm like, I need somebody to advocate for me. So no sooner than that, he pulls up and he's telling me, put your phone on record. Now, the captain in the police station told me to turn my phone off. So my builder was like, I'm trying to tell him, yo, they told me not to. He's like, just, you know, I'm doing this slide. It's like, you know, I'm holding my phone like as if I'm not recording. So one of the captains seen that shit and grabbed my phone now. They got upset at me, told me to go into the police station now. They made me take off my bag and shit, started searching me, and I told them, listen, escuche, no tiene un problema, es para mi protección. Tú sabes, no aquí por problema. Yo visitar tu país mucho tiempo, yo solo aquí para vacaciones, you know? So I'm trying to explain that to them, and he's telling me in Spanish, why are you recording me? Why you record me? So they take my phone, they erase all the records that I had on my phone, you know what I'm saying? So, hola, they took my phone and erased all the videos that I had recorded, you know what I'm saying? So at that point, the police officer that brought me there, he saw that the captain was pissed with me. So he's trying to calm the captain down. You know what I mean? Like, nah, he's, you know, telling him the situation. So my builder was saying that the captain was telling the owner of the car rental company, why would y'all bring him here? I don't want any Americans in my police station. Take him to the Fiscalía. You know, so that's what he was telling him. I didn't know that's what he was saying. But then once he see me recording, that's when he got pissed and took the phone and then put me in his police station. And then, as I said, the cop that drove me there diffused that whole situation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling them, like, I just want to go to the Fiscalía. I just want to go to the courts. I don't give a fuck. I just want to go to the courts. I got proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, they trying to get over on me, right? So now the owner of the car rental company, he's like talking to my builder now, like, no, let's just handle this outside. Let's just handle this outside. Now you don't want to go to the courts because you already know that if I take you to the courts, who you think they're going to side with, especially if I got audio. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I'm just like, you know what? It's $2,700. That I'm gonna be real with you. I'm kind of tapped out right now. That's not what I intended on spending, especially after making some investment you know, and buying that property. I had intentions on cleaning out the lot, doing some miscellaneous things that I needed to do for the crib. But as I said, guys, I'm not stressing over that shit. You know, the last thing that you want is problems in this country. You know what I mean? Because if I would have just skipped out, I could have easily got on the plane and just came back home. But then, you know, you got to think about it. I got property here. You don't want to ever put yourself in a position where you got investments here and now you can't come back because you're caught in some legalities. You know what I mean? It's not a smart move. So I was just like, fuck it. I'll just pay the $2,700 and be done. You know what I mean? But one thing I will tell you guys is that I'm going to go to that car rental company, make a whole video, and I'm going to let everybody know, do not, I repeat, do not rent from this car rental company. And how I found them is through another expat, and I got to let him know too, like, bro, they shysters, man. They shysters because they were supposed to offer me full coverage, and they going to lie and tell my lawyer in Spanish that I didn't want it. That was some bullshit. Why would I take a car without being fully insured? Make it make sense. You know what I mean? You paid, bro. I didn't pay yet, but James, what am I gonna do? I got a house here. I got land here. I don't want them, you know, like they got my ID. They don't physically have it, but they got my New York ID number on the contract. I don't need that bullshit, bro. Sometimes it's just to, you know, take a loss. You know what I'm saying? What am I gonna do? You got to think smart, bro. You know, I don't want any problems. Offer 500 or court, bro. I gotta leave out of here on Tuesday. I could see if I had, you know, a longer duration, but it's not enough time because otherwise I would have did the whole court thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those situations. But this too shall pass, man. You know, it is what it is. And that's why I'm telling you guys, sometimes it's just still offer 500. The damages on that car, because my builder went with me. He went with me because we was like, you know what? I agreed to pay, but the factura, which is the estimate, came to 120 something, and my builder was like, yo, it's better you just pay the 160. Just pay it because, you know, the longer they keep the car, you got to pay for storage and all of that shit. And I just was just like, you know what? Yeah, it's hurting my pockets right now because, like I said, I had other things to do. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I can't stress over that shit. I can't. It's only $2,700. I mean, that's a lot right now, especially when I got other things that I was trying to do. But sometimes you got to take the high road. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes you got to fold. And I like I said, you got to think smart. It's better to just pay it and move on. You know, I know, you know, in the future, I'm no longer doing business with them. I'm going to make sure I make a video so that you guys know, don't ever rent from this company in Puerto Plata, you know. And, you know, my experience, yeah, it's a valuable lesson for me. And now it's helping you guys to navigate through this shit if in case you are faced with that kind of a situation. Now you know that when you rent a car, they're supposed to offer you full coverage, and it only costs you 1,000 pesos to be fully secured. And these companies are supposed to offer that to you, and if they don't, you find somebody else, period. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what that is, man. And I'm done with that. I don't even want to talk about that shit no more because it's still, you know, it's bothering me, you know, because I was just like, I'm not even going to hold you. Don't think for once that I ain't think about just getting on the next plane and saying, fuck y'all, I'm out. You know what I mean? But I don't want to have an issue coming back, you know, and that, especially when, it's one thing if I didn't have any ties to the Dominican Republic and have no investments here, I'd be going in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Jay, why didn't you call Ricardo? Who's Ricardo? Who's Ricardo? Who's Ricardo? I don't know Ricardo. Create Your Realty. I don't know who Ricardo is. And then I tried to call the embassy, you know, to get a lawyer to represent me, but it was in the afternoon and the embassy closed at 5, I think at 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? Oh, Carlene. Oh, this is, you know what? I didn't even realize, I should, you know, and that's another thing, guys. I wasn't thinking to call Ricardo. You're right. I could have called Ricardo. And it's not too late. It's not too, well, It is because it's Monday, and I just want to be done with this. I just want to be done, guys. And that's why I tell you guys it's important to stay connected with expats, here, because when you're faced with the situation, and Ricardo just happens to be a police officer, I don't know why I didn't think about calling Ricardo. You know, Rick James says fight. But then I gotta stay. I don't have time. I don't have time to fight. When you get off the live, call Ricardo, please. Okay. All right. Yeah, because my lawyer did me dirty. You know what I mean? And I just, I feel like that insurance company, they covered half of the damages. I know they did. And I'm willing to pay the other 50%. But yeah, it seems like y'all are making me pay the full cost, and even my landlord was feeling sorry for me and feeling she was like they got over on you, and it's not right. She even offered me money. She was like, "Are you sure you don't need any money? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna take no money from that lady." I said no, no. She felt like it was part of her responsibility, but she didn't have anything to do with that. In other news, what's going on with the house? Right. So let's talk about the house. So I'm gonna call you, Colleen. I'm gonna call you when I get off the live. I'm gonna call you guys when I get off the live. So the house has been sold. I think I mentioned to you guys that. For those of you guys just tapping in, be sure to hit them likes up. My house has been sold. I'm waiting on the closing of that, and a lot of you guys are probably questioning why. Well, I'll put it to you this way. My biggest regret is building a house for myself. I should have done investment properties only because, I'm going to see a little bit more money on my return. You know what I mean? And now that I bought the land that I have acquired, once that house is sold, I'm going to do some investment properties on that land. I'm talking about some apartments like a few of the other expats are doing here. The idea is coming out here to capitalize. I know everybody wants their dream home and wants a home for themselves, but I'm still young. I'm 45 years old. I got time, So I plan to, that house. Once the house is sold, I'm gonna do some apartments on my property that I have up in near El Coupe, and once I sell 2 apartments or 3, I'm going to take that money and then really build something nice for myself. You know what I mean? That's the idea. If I build 6 apartments with the money that I get from my home, and that was another thing, I really don't want to touch the money from my home. And I tell you guys this all the time. If you don't have to use your own money, you hold on to your money and you borrow money from the bank and use your money as collateral. You know what I mean? People say, one of the viewers said, Kama said, Jay, why would you take out a loan in Dominican Republic? The interest rates are high. You're taking it out for an investing, not to build your home. It's for investment properties. Once you make your money back from the investment properties, you pay the bank back right away. Okay, let's just say you got to pay a year of interest, before your project is done. Okay, you're still making a profit. You're still going to make a profit, and then you go ahead and continue on with your build. This is what a lot of us are doing out here. So that's why I decided to sell the home. It's a beautiful home, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to make something bigger and better. Trust me. Especially now that I have, my builder and, I have the right resources to make it happen. Yeah. How much is this project going to cost? I just bought the land, bro. I gotta give me some time. I just closed a deal yesterday, so I gotta do some architectural plans. I gotta clean the lots. I gotta I keep forgetting how the pronunciation. The Grimacor, he came out to mark off the land, and now I gotta get somebody out there to clean it. Now, with all this money that I lost from this whole car situation, that was supposed to go towards that, cleaning out the lot, having them wire it off, you know what I'm saying, and leveling the land, I had every intentions on doing that with that money, but to do the project that I want to do it shouldn't cost me no more than like 100K. You know, and I'm looking at maybe like 6 apartments, 4 to 6 apartments. You know what I mean? You know, so once I get the architectural plans for that, my builder and I will go over, you know, the material costs and the labor costs and so on and so on. Yeah. But for sure, guys, that's my advice to you guys. You know, if you can invest here, you know, and what I said is that, you know, once I do the apartments, my plan is to keep one for myself, keep one apartment for myself. And that way I can live there, you know, and still, you know, build, keep continuing to build. You know what I mean? You always want a place for yourself, you know? And then also, you know, the apartment that I got, you know, after it was all said, I really had to sit and think about it. The apartment that I'm renting out now, I decided that I'm going to Airbnb it. I done spoke to my landlord about it. She told me she doesn't care as long as she gets her money every month. And she also wants to partner with me with doing another Airbnb that she has, you know, and told me we could split the cost on that. So, you know, there's definitely ways to make money in Dominican Republic. You just have to have somebody boots on the ground that you can trust to help you kind of manage things. And even if you, you know, you hire a lawyer to do that for you, you know, so be it. As long as you're generating some income. I look at it like this. Whether you're generating an extra $100 or $200 a month, that's $100 or $200 that you didn't have. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it, especially if you are, you know, you don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? I done completely furnished the apartment. It's furnished, is livable, you know. And yeah, you know, why not make that money and let the rent pay for itself while I'm back home, you know? And then when I come back, you know, I just block out those dates for me. That's all. What advice you have for renting a car? Only American companies? You know, Rick James, whether you're renting from the airports or locals, it's still the same shit. Somebody told me, the guy that was on my live, Ovi Gaga, said he had the same issue. You know, I've heard a few stories about renting from the airport. You know, you think that you're fully covered, and then if in case you get into an accident, they try to extort you for more money. But no, I was covered. You know, so these kind of things happen. And when they know that you're only here for a short period of time, they try to put the pressure on you. They have this way of making us feel scared, like we got to, you know, and this is why they call the cops on me. They call the cops because they didn't really have a leg to stand on, you know. And I'm gonna call Rick today, because I want to know my rights. If I decide to say, you know what, screw you, I'm not paying you shit, what's gonna happen? If the officer says they don't got a leg to stand on, I'm out of here. You know, I'll pack up my shit, because they know where my Airbnb is. You know, they don't know that I'm renting that folks all year round. I'll pack up my shit. ¿Qué lo que? Todo bien? Yeah, you know, I'll pack up my shit and go to another Airbnb and stay there until it's time for me to go back home. This is after I speak to Colleen's husband, Ricardo. You know. But yeah, I would say, if you're gonna rent a car, let the local drive. Let the local it's better to have a peace of mind and letting somebody drive for you and paying for a driver if you can. I'm not gonna let this situation hinder me and stop me from renting again. I just know what I need to do, you know, in the future. You know what I mean? And my landlord that's from the States, you know, she's Dominican here, and she told me, she said, J-Day, the next time you come here, anything that you need, you ask me. She's like, you ask me, you know, and she said, if I give the green light, that means it's a go. But don't do nothing in this country, you know, without having somebody that's going to advocate and help you, you know. The woman offered me money. Where do you get that from, man? She offered to help. She's like, are you sure? She kept asking me, am I sure? Am I sure? And I said, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to take, I'm too prideful for that, you know. Y'all never see me on here asking y'all for money. I'm just not that type. If you want to donate, that's one thing, but No, she, and I thought that was really nice. You know what I'm saying? For her to offer money to me. But yeah. So that's pretty much the situation with that, guys. Just know that it's best to keep within the expat circle. And because everybody knows somebody. You know, and that's what will help us get out of trouble if in case we get into some shit. The last thing you want to do is get yourself caught up in a jam here and then you can't return. Nah. But back to the land. So, the land that I acquired here in Dominican Republic, guys, I had no intentions on acquiring that land. It just fell into my lap, and it was a good investment. I tell you this, the land that I have, it's got so many fruit trees on it that I can make a profit just off the fruit trees itself. You see what I'm saying? I can make a profit just off the fruit trees. So it's definitely money in that. Definitely money in that. I appreciate the $2, Rick James. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, it's got enough fruit trees to where I can profit on the land. Just that. I got bananas. I've got lime. I've got soursop. I got guava. I got guayaba. I've got what else? I got a medicinal plant. Medicinal, like, because I didn't know. I asked, I'm like, what is this fruit? She said, no, that's for medicine. I got a medicinal plant. I've got, what else? I got a lot of fruit trees, man. A lot. I got coconut trees. I got palm trees. Big palm trees at that, So, my plan is when I get back home, the hustle is on. So I gotta, send money to have the lot cleaned out. I gotta, mark off my land, fence it off, get it cleaned out. And then somebody asked me, well, when are you planning on starting the construction on that? First things first is cleaning the lot, getting the architectural plans for the lots, and then pretty much going from there, I do know one thing. I want to build a nice multi-family unit that's going to overlook the mountains, Yeah. How big is the lot? It is 650 square meters. And guys, it's big. 650 square meters is one Tadea. It's big. It's really big. It's big. It's a nice size. Put it this way, it's a nice size for me too, because initially I was like, I didn't want to buy 650, but my builder was like, just buy it. Just buy it. I know, you sacrificing right now, you got your little situation. He's like, I managed to put 16,000 down, and I got to pay them 3,500 before December. I gave myself before December, so for those of you asking, it cost me $30 per square meter. $30 per square meter it cost me. Yeah. Which is not a bad price, man. I got a lot of you guys have reached out to me, and I took 2 clients up there today, and they're motivated to buy. Yeah. One of the clients, he sent his brother, there because he couldn't physically get up there. He's got a hip replacement right now, but they're both interested in buying. And these are motivated buyers. Listen, whether people buy on the channel or not, I'm still going to capitalize up there. For one, the lawyer that's doing the paperwork, the family lawyer, she's got investments up there. Because I asked her, well, when are you planning on building? And she said next year she's starting her construction. And then there's an English professor that bought land. And, initially I'm thinking, well, damn, I'm going to have to, fix the road. No, guys. They're doing the roads themselves, so I don't even have to worry about doing a road up there, man. That's saving me a lot of money. And once y'all already know, once the roads is done, that's gonna generate more people to come up there. It's going up there it takes about a good 12 to 15 minutes to drive up there from like the main road, which is like because you have to go into San Marcos in order to get to where the land is. For those of you guys who know where San Marcos is, but and that road is going towards El Coupe. It's going towards El Coupe. But guys, it's once they fix the roads on that going towards El Coupe, 5 to 10 minutes. And I asked my builder, I said, when do you think they'll have these roads fixed? He said within a year, these roads are gonna be fixed. Only because there's other communities that they're building up there going towards my home. So they gotta fix those roads. Oh man, it looks like it's gonna rain. I'm thinking I have enough time to get in the water. Let me show you guys. Ricardo brother rents cars. Renter had an accident 2 weeks ago. He covered the repairs. It's who you know. All right. So Colleen, I'm gonna reach out to you guys when I get off this live. But yeah, look at it's been raining like crazy here, man. I mean, I got like 2 weeks of rain. Well, Colleen, let me ask you. Ask Ricardo, because they're trying to charge me $2,775. I think that's a lot. Especially if they have a deductible and the insurance company is willing to pay half of the damages. I'm just like, why am I responsible for paying that whole amount? I even have the factors, from what I have the factors, so I can present all of that to you. So yeah, if I can say, all I'm doing is trying to save some money. If I can save some money on this, I just need to know what my rights are. That's it. And then I'll go from there. I'm not trying to skip out on anybody. I'm a fair guy. I just want them to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I have the money to pay them. I had to transfer money from my United States account to put into my Dominican account. And that's another thing, guys. Transferring money from the United States to, once you open up a banking account, that money transfers in a day. Remember, he's also a I didn't know he was a lawyer. All right. So I'm gonna call you guys. Maybe we can handle this on Monday before I leave out of here. Yeah. If I can save some money, I don't have a problem paying Ricardo for his services and time. But I just don't feel like I should have to pay that. That's a lot of money to be paying in Dominican Republic, especially when they got insurance. Like I said, even if the insurance company is only willing to cover half of the damages, that was 160,000 Dominican pesos. 1,300. Okay, that's you know what I'm saying. I'm willing to pay that, but $2,700 is a lot. Get off the live and get it now. People are starting to leave though. And look. I mean, I can come back tomorrow. I can always. It's Sunday now. Tomorrow, I plan on going to the Rio. But people are starting to leave. You see, it's getting real cloudy out. It's getting real cloudy. I'm getting Gringo, Colleen. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, because my lawyer didn't advocate for me the way he was supposed to. I got audio and everything, Colleen. I got audio. As a matter of fact, I'm going to forward you the audio, the conversation that my lawyer was having with the rental car guys. Yeah. And because the rental car guy, I was so ready to go to the courts. And he decided he didn't want to do that. He wanted to. So I'm like, why didn't he want to go to the courts? So maybe this is a blessing in disguise, with you guys, Colleen and Ricardo, because I'm sitting here like, man, I just, right now, I just don't have, I mean, who the hell wants to spend that kind of money if they don't have to? Let's just be realistic, especially when I'm trying to do other things here before I leave out. I got a lot of shit that I got to do. So, with that being said, guys, I got some more property that I'm going to showcase before I leave out of here. I'm hoping that I can do it, especially if I've been there before. I know what you're going through. I know, Colleen. I've heard you expressed your mishaps here, man. You have. And this is why it's very important for us to stay well connected, with each other, so that if in case something happens, we can call on each other. We all that we have out here, guys. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the culture and I love the people, but when it comes down to it, the nitty gritty, who you think it's us against them? We're foreigners in their land. So always keep that in mind. No matter how nice they appear to you, and oh, I'll help you, I'll do this and I'll do that. Trust no one. Trust no one in this country. Trust me. Take it from somebody that knows. Trust no one. You know. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna end this live. Colleen, I'm about to call you right now. All right. For those of you who are watching, be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe, and y'all stay tuned for more updates. It's your guy, J-Day. Peace and love always, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.